Hi guys, I'm Jason from KC Roof Plumbing, and today we're going to install a high capacity sump with an overflow weir. So our high capacity sump, the depth is at 150mm and our length of our sump is 600, and that's the minimum. We've also got our overflow weir that we'll be installing. Our overflow weir is 200mm wide, and it's also the width of our box gutter and sump. So now we've put our pops in place and we've marked where they need to be cut out, as well as our overflow weir. So if you come and have a look at this, you can see our overflow weir is in place, as well as our pop for our overflow. So if we just remove this, you'll see this is our pop here, and we've also got markings. This is where our overflow weir sits. So our overflow weir is 200 wide, and because this is a 600mm sump, it goes directly in the middle. Our pop and overflow need to be directly center and just parallel to each other. So now that we've marked this, we can start cutting. Okay, so now we've cut our pops in. So as you can see, the whole of the pop that was marked, we've cut that 5mm smaller, so we're able to have a drip edge and turn down where our pop. So any water that does get to the pop won't get stuck on the edge, it'll go straight down. And looking from underneath, you can see that it's over-sealed around the pop, and then also on the inside we've sealed so no water can get sucked under and it won't leak. And now that we've cut in our pops, we're gonna rivet in our overflow weir. All right, so we've pinned it in place and we've drilled it all out. So now we'll take the rivets out, take off the overflow weir, under seal, and then we'll rip it back up. Okay, so now we've riveted off our overflow weir. One thing that we want to make note of is because we're going to be making more swarf with our box gutter, we don't want to be oversealing anything because then the swarf will stick to it. So the sump will need to be sealed, the overflow as well as your pops and rivets. So we'll leave all the oversealing for later, but it's just something to note of. And one thing to note with our overflow weir is that obviously our sump is 150 deep. Our overflow weir sits 20 mil above that 150, so it's actually 170. So now we've got our box gutters. So what we've done here, we've run our box gutter into the sump by 50 mil. We want to make sure that both sides are the same so that the box gutter isn't on an angle and so that it looks a lot better. So what you can see is I've pinned both boxies, making sure that the measurement's 50 on both sides. And you can see two lines here. So our first row is our first row of rivets. They've been marked at every 40 mil, and then we've set back another 20 mil, and we've done the same. But as you can see, our back row sits in between our front row. So all 40 mil spacings, except that back row is just in between. So what we're going to do now, we're going to drill out the rest of our marks, then we'll take out our rivets, under seal, and rivet back up. Okay, so now that we've got it all drilled out, what we want to do, we want to under seal all along the tag here, and then out across to our upstand, and then all the way up as well. So we want to make sure that we've got a nice thick line, close enough to the edge so that when it oozes out, we're able to stick our finger under and make sure that it's oversealed between the box gutter and the sump. And also what we want to do first with our box gutter before we rivet it off is we want to turn down about 15 mil of the edge. And the reason we do that is because when water runs off, if this isn't turned down, water can suck back in under the box gutter and can cause a leak if the sump's not sealed right. So we want to have a nice turn down before we install it, because this overflow weir, it's in the way. We're not going to be able to get our folders in if we install it first. Okay, so we've just riveted off our boxy and sump joint, and now our last step essentially is to overseal everything. So we can overseal our rivets. You can see the silicon's already popped through from our underseal, but we also want to go over everything that we've already installed. So our pops, our overflow weir, all rivets, as well as the sump itself, because with some suppliers, they're not accountable for the seals and the joins. So we want to go over everything, the upstands of the sump, the corners, just going over everything, making sure that there's no way for this sump to leak. So now we're finished. As you can see, we've sealed everything. So all of our rivets are sealed, our pops, our overflow weir, and we've also gone over the sump itself, made sure that all corners, joins are sealed. Also gone underneath the sump, from sump to boxy join. And now we've gone over everything. This is a KC roof flowing high capacity sump with box gutter joints. Thanks for joining us.